For almost 12 years, he did not get the money. And he died during the process because of cancer and because of some implications of the case that we are talking about. So after his death, we have continued with the case. Okay, sure. So litigation funding is about having a case, and the case has to be a meritorious case, which can be won. And then you don't have the resources to support the case by yourself, or you want to outsource the risk of the case to external parties, and therefore you give it to other people so that they can pay money related to the case, and then they can get you the experts, they can pay the entire cost of the litigation process until they get a result. If there is a positive result, the litigation funder gets a percentage out of it. If there is no positive result, then the litigation funder gets the entire risk and loses the entire investment of the case. Okay, so the main idea of litigation funding is how you can outsource an activity that is not a core business for you. So for example, now if you are into the metal industry or manufacturing industry, you cannot know quite well how to deal with cases, with legal cases. You need another party that is more specialized and more experienced than you to deal with that. So litigation funding is about give this issue or give this claim to another party, give this to litigation funder. They will take the entire risk of the process. They will get this out of your balance sheet and they will take this forward, and they know exactly what they are talking about. The good part about it is that the result of the litigation funders is much better than the result of the normal companies when they deal with the litigation. We have an entire team who is very much specialized in this. They can follow up properly the process with the lawyers. They can intervene at the right times. They can make sure that the process is being followed properly. So therefore, the result of dealing with cases through litigation funders is much better than the result of the individual person or individual company when they deal with the litigation. It has to be more than 50% to 60% to be secure. This is normally the cases that we take. And actually our bidding on the cases, or if we can choose the success rate that we had, it's over 90% that we had. However, in order to study the case and make the due diligence on it, we need to make sure that at least 50 to 60% are the chances for success. So the main driver for me to bring the litigation funding business into the Middle East is that I have seen in many situations that litigation funders are international. So they don't exist here in the Middle East per se. The first company that has been opened here in litigation funding, it has been a multinational company, and they started here 3 years ago in Dubai. But before this company has been formed in Dubai, there was no single litigation funders here in the Middle East. So this concept is not even heard of here in this part of the world. I'm so proud that the founders, some of the notable characters here in the Middle East. So 2 of them are top 50 CEOs as per Forbes list of the top 50 CEOs in the Middle East. And others also, they are very prominent figures in the UAE, and they are very much knowledgeable and very much educated. And I'm so proud of the founders. They have been so much supportive to the company and to the operation. They have the passion that I have to this business. They liked a lot the idea of having litigation funding business here in the Middle East. And they started with me the process from scratch because they do believe in the idea. So I'm so proud of the founders, and we have a decent fund. And again, we are very close to this part of the world, to this jurisdiction, the jurisdictions of the Middle East in general, and therefore we are closer to support the businesses needing this kind of service. Absolutely. Most of the businesses here that we have in the Middle East are operating in real estate, so real estate sector, real estate investors. investors who have stalled real estate projects for a long time and they want to prosecute actions to recover their rights. People who need to have access to the justice system per se, so they have legitimate claim, they have merits in their claim, but they want to go ahead and they want to access justice. Sometimes you find the process of accessing justice is very expensive, especially in arbitration cases. So therefore, by facilitating, providing money and taking the risk of the litigation process, you provide people who have legitimate claims the right path to access the justice system without having to have the risk to go through the entire process. So this is the most important thing about litigation funding, that once you have people having meritorious and right claim, you give them path and you give them easy way to access the justice system. Absolutely. I think you touched upon a very important point because, for example, if you are a milk producer, if you are a car manufacturer, you know exactly what to do, you know exactly how to generate money out of your business, but you don't know how to deal with cases. And unfortunately, it is the case here in the Middle East that some lawyers, sometimes they don't tell the entire truth to their clients. They try to portray everything as rosy and the case will be 100%. So unfortunately, businesses and individuals, sometimes they don't perceive this picture properly and they become skeptical about the entire process from the beginning up to the end. So therefore, we provide them a solution which says, keep doing what you're doing, keep doing the manufacturing, keep doing the real estate, whatever you are investing in, this is your specialization, this is what you know. Give the cases to the people who are specialized in that. And fortunately, the outcome of that is two important variables. One, litigation funders can do cases much better than individuals because we have much more experience. This is our main core of business. This is our domain that we are living in. And secondly, we maximize the value and the return to clients. For example, PricewaterhouseCoopers, they issued a report saying that 24% of the value of claims in international arbitration is related to interest, for example. So we maximize the value of the claim by getting the proper experts so that we can make sure that the value of the claim is being maximized for our benefit as a funder and for the client's benefit at the end. So the result of outsourcing and specialization is better success rate and higher value of claim. All right, number one, the value of the claim. It has to be $3 million. Number two, the merit of the case. It has to be a meritorious case. It has to be a case that is supported by documents and it has legitimacy. Number three is the enforceability of the case, so that the other party that we are litigating against, we have to make sure that the defendant of the case, they have assets and they have presence, so we can enforce decisions against them. These are the three criteria. If you comply with those, then most likely 70%, 80% funders will accept your claim. We have dealt with multiple cases, obviously. However, there is one case which is very touching that has been completed recently, and this is the human factor of it is the part that gives it the unique stand. So we have been funding a case and we have contracted with a company that was in Dubai, and actually the founder of this company signed the contract with us, and then he was deprived from his money for almost 12 years. He did not get the money. And he died during the process because of cancer and because of some implications of the case that we are talking about. So after his death, we have continued with the case. We started to continue with it and we started the amicable settlement. And by the way, you cannot have a settlement without having some sort of compulsion, if you know what I mean. So you have to start a litigation process so that people from the other side will perceive you seriously that you need to proceed with a settlement. So we proceeded with the settlement. We have taken like 4 months in order to establish the settlement. And after his death, we got the compensation. So after that, of course, we have got our share of the money. However, the heirs from the other side, they were very much happy of the result, and they thought that the right of their brother has came back, and they feel that they have already recovered what their late brother has been following for the rest of his life. So this is really a touching point, and they started to be in tears because of that. So some human factor also is important here, that it's not only about business, it's also about the human kind of thing, that it's very much touching that people can recover their rights.